representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said $3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impact to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at first, Rivers State. Southern leaders support Wike, dismiss FCT distraction. Still on Rivers State, youth storm local government secretariat, protest chairman's tenure extension. And on Edo State, Shaibu supports opposition, snubs PDP party. On economy, Dalon criticizes Tinubu's call for sacrifice for masses. On governance, new aircraft for Tinubu, Shetima unacceptable, P2B says. And on politics, Honorable Olatunji identifies barriers hindering women in politics. Do not go away. When I come back from this break, we'll delve right into the show.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said $3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human trafficker.
Honorable
you order.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly. Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
We condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Chuba Obozo, a political analyst. Good morning, Mr. Chuba.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
And I also have George Chinda, a political analyst. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Chairman.
And on to the stories. The Citizens Network for Peace and Development of Nigeria, a group of southern leaders, has expressed strong support for FCT Minister Ezenwo Wike amid the political crisis in his home state of Rivers. After a meeting in Abuja, they commended Wike's performance, stating that he has allowed his successor, Governor Simlaye Fubara, to manage Rivers State independently. The group criticized opposition efforts against Wike, attributing them to individuals wanting to maintain the old order for personal gain. Chief Raphael Okorie, national coordinator of CNDP-N, praised Wike's achievement in 9 months as FCT minister, surpassing those of former ministers over 8 years. He also urged patience with President Bola Tinubu, highlighting Wike's significant infrastructural developments in Abuja. Okorie noted that Wike remains undistracted by the Rivers crisis and is focused on developing the capital. The leaders emphasized the positive impact of Tinubu and Wike's leadership, mentioning improvements in infrastructure, economic stability, and foreign direct investment. Now, Mr. Chuba, what is your immediate reaction to this statement by this group?
My immediate reaction is very simple and straight. Like we always say, it is my personal opinion, like the opinion of the organization that gathered themselves to go and appraise the minister. It is their opinion, it is their views. But one will begin to wonder from what spectrum are they making their analysis? Because if we talk about it, I think they just contradicted themselves. With all due respect to Mr. Korea, they contradicted themselves by saying the former governor of this state, the present FCT minister, has allowed his successor to manage the state's resources and all independently without trying to interrupt. And on the second hand, you say the crisis in Rivers State is not disturbing the minister. What crisis do we have in Rivers State if the crisis are not self-inflicted? And to a large extent, when you talk about infrastructure development, if you read through the entire report, you feel that it's so embarrassing, so insulting to the sensibility of the Nigerian populace. You begin to ask yourself, these people are so supposedly called exposed persons. They are supposedly called elites. They are supposedly called the leaders of this nation, who for one reason or the other, whether for entertainment, for vacation, for self-aggrandizement, for health issues, they've traveled out of the shores of this country. Is it the kind of infrastructures that people, where they go, the people have with the kind of humongous funds that have been dissipated into such projects? So it is embarrassingly shameful when you see adults who, by the virtue of life's arrangement and expectancies, whether you like it or yes, even if you live 120 years, you're not going to live forever. A time is going to come where you're going to close your eyes in death, and your stay on this part of eternity is over. People should be able to say truth to power. People should be able to at least chart a different course. We cannot continue on this psychophancy that we are running among the streets with. To what end are we? There was the Korea and his group talking about the developmental strides of the FCT minister in respect to the Tinubu administration. We all are part of this system of elections that we saw here in 2023, and this is the outcome of it. This is our present day economic reality. We should stop this psychophancy of trying to just sing people's praises. I mean, I do not know where the rationales upon which some scorecards have been dashed out here and there. It is a shameful and embarrassing process. When you say Southern leaders, you can begin to ask yourself, to what end, who are they and what are their pedigrees in respect to both leadership and the struggles of the Southern people of Nigeria? In what capacity, apart from being there, the fact that maybe they have been assisted by one crony or the other, giving some offices to handle, mismanage them as it were. We have had 614 corruption charges in this country from 2009 up until date. 614 humongous corruption charges. Only 3 have been treated to logical conclusion. Only 3. And in the midst of all of this, we're talking about our national patrimony being fleeced out by people who have been opportune to be in offices. There's some funny characters who just come out and be telling the world or telling people things that we think we don't. Listen, the truth remains what it is. I have said this and I will keep saying it. There's always, the Bible says, surely there is an end. and the expectation of the people that are righteous, supposedly righteous, will not be cut off. The truth remains that we are playing with so much, and we just see adults who think that nothing would happen. Everybody just comes out to say whatever they like to say, act in whatever manner they want to act, insult our sensibility over and over again. I want to ask you a very simple question. The crisis in River State, where did it emanate from? If there is no crisis in River State, why do you bother to say somebody? I think there is a crisis in River State. So from where is the genesis and where is it leading us to? Then you are telling us that somebody has allowed his predecessor to act unhindered. It is embarrassing and it is painful.
If I may ask, because when we were making your statement, you talked about, you very briefly touched on their statements with regards to the infrastructural developments by the FCT minister in Abuja. Are you saying that the developments, there are no developments exactly? What is your point with regards to that?
In fairness to you, I won't pretend to tell you. I've always told you we're public analysts who come here to guide public opinions. From where the FCT minister met the FCT, and for the projects he has put on ground today, it is unarguably a fact that a lot of people have applauded him to that end. And most of the people coming out to do an applaud, I keep telling people, you are paid to clean this place and you are cleaning it. Or you clean it shabbily. Because some people that have been there do not even bother to clean. So because you have cleaned it shabbily now, you want all of us to come praising you. That's not the job of the public.
You're saying that the infrastructural developments are shabbily done.
The infrastructural development that we were talking about there in FCT as it is today are obviously developmental strides, no doubt about it. But to what end? What's it called? Factoring the developmental strides or the structures you are talking about on ground, and to the funds that have been allocated for those projects, do they match international? Do they match present-day statistics and realities? The truth remains that we have failed to make people listen. I tell people, I give people a very sarcastic analogy, which I will share now. If you go to a place to visit your uncle with a friend, and you do not know what the uncle gave to you guys as thanks for coming, and on your way, your friend tells you, man, my uncle gave us 10,000 naira, and he gives you 4,000. You are happy because you went there, possibly with a very open heart, without even knowing. But I can assure you that friend will be a very good friend, if not your best, because you have looked at it that he has given you 40% out of 100. But at the end of the day, when you get to know...
Is this something you can substantiate?
Of course, yes.
You can substantiate.
I want to ask you very simple.
Because right now you're making an allegation, even though veiled as an innuendo.
I want to ask you a very simple question. The project of the road constructed, the kilometers of road constructed, even whether they want to release that to public domain or not, is correct or wrong, I think you have access to those amounts. Then you juxtapose it to places where the same projects of these kilometers of road have been done in other climes. And you ask yourself, that is why I tell people very simply, we are not praise singers of government. We ought to put government on our toes. And if government is even trying in any way, yes, as we say government, you have done well. We know that government has left 99 yet undone, and that 99 should be eroded so that government should understand that so much needs to be done, and nobody should sit on his ass. What we are saying here, and what I'm saying here very categorically is this. You cannot come out and start applauding people under this administration at a time as such. It is an insult to our collective sensibility. There's a reality on ground, my dear. There is nothing called 200 naira pepper in the market anymore. There's no place you can buy fuel below 600 naira. Today, people's what's it called, minimum wage cannot even pay for their utility bill of power per month. And we're talking about, we're coming to public space to come and applaud people and discuss issues and say, look, I've always said it. We're not coming to make friends. We're not coming to make enemies. We're coming to state the obvious and let people understand that what they are doing, if they call themselves so-called leaders, I call them so-called. Because age has not made anybody a leader. Most of these people are an outright disgrace to the Nigerian state. And it's a pity that this is where we found ourselves.
Okay. Mr. George, what is your take?
Well, I must say that I want to depart from what he is saying and disagree a bit. I understand his challenges when it comes to what is happening in Nigeria today. But I must say that when someone has done well, it is important to give the person praises so that the person will do more. He was talking about if the money used in constructing those projects were commensurate with the project, if you juxtapose it to other clumps. You also know that there's no two clumps that is the same. There are other factors, peculiarities that makes this thing to differ. People had been there prior to this time. Those projects were not awarded in the last 8 months, and they left it undone. Someone came with the passion to ensure that this project, knowing the importance of this project, to the Nigerian people, decided to embark on this project, and today those projects are reality. People are using it. And you say we should not give praise to such a person. I don't believe in that school of thought. We understand that the Nigerian nation, has been bedeviled with so many lack of leadership in the past. So because of that, most Nigerians, like he said, our sensibilities are being insulted on a daily basis. But there are still those who are exceptional. They may have bad, beginning, they may have had, some kind of challenges in their previous post. But wherever someone has done well, I am of the view that the person should be given praises. Because if the person had not done that thing and had gone the way of the others, we'll keep crying, and we'll keep crying. So if someone had come to do something, why can't we give him praise? The man would have decided to go the way of the others. And probably, like he said, over 600 corrupt cases, only 2 or 3, according to him, has been, given accelerated hearing and, at the end concluded. The others are still hanging. These same persons would have also decided to toe the same line, let the matter keep hanging in the court. And Nigerians keep suffering. So me, I'm of the view that the group that praised the minister for the work he has done, they have done well for praising the minister. I have been to Abuja in the last, from February to this day, I've been to Abuja 3 times. I have witnessed firsthand. I'm not talking about hearsay. I've witnessed some of the projects. One of them is this rail transit. All this while that project had been there, lying fallow. Today, that project is functional. Don't we know the importance of that in our transportation system? Was that project awarded in the last 8 months? No. People had failed to see it through. And someone has come to make sure that this thing is... Wike has not done that project for himself. He has done that project for the use by Nigerians. So in our culture, it is right to give praises where it is due. If the same Wike had come to do something that is bad, and he's coming here to criticize him, I wouldn't have any challenge with that. Because like he said, it is our common patrimony, our collective patrimony. And this man we are choosing among the many people in this country to lead. Because at some point, someone must lead. So if someone has gone out of his way to do something right, to achieve something great, no matter how little, something that was hitherto that was not there, and it is beneficial to the development of the country, my brother, I don't think there's anything wrong in giving praises to such a person. Right. So I think the group is in order to have given their praises. Right. But then, like I keep saying, my own personal philosophy, the beating will continue until morale improves. We are not yet there as a nation, as a people. We will keep striving. We'll keep striving. Wike will not be there forever. He will be there for maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or more, depending on how the president who has appointed him wants him to function. Someday he will live there, another person will come. If the person comes, he should build on whatever achievement Wike has, achieved. And gradually we'll get to El Dorado. Right. Not even the years that have gotten there. All right.
Following the expiration of local government chairman's tenure in Rivers State, youths in Degema and Asari-Toru local government areas occupied their council headquarters in protest. The chairman, supported by the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, cited the law allowing a 6-month tenure extension. This law, passed by lawmakers loyal to Minister Nyesom Wike, was challenged by Governor Similaye Fubara, who wants the chairman to leave office, despite a court ruling nullifying the... Chuba, what is your take with respect to this building tension?
Permit me to just take 30 seconds to clear the air concerning what...
I wouldn't want us to go back.
No, we're not going back to the story. I want to say something. Listen, when a group comes to applaud a person on the job and they stay on that matter, people like us will jump on it because that is our job, to make sure that the public get the right opinion or right information. But when the group comes to tie it to the peace of River State, to the developmental strides of President Tinubu, then it completely causes a disconnect for the people of, like, persons like us who have been able to build a career through this platform. Now, on this issue, very straightforward.
Hold on, yeah. Choba. When you say when the group ties it to the administration of Tinubu, if I may ask you, is the FCT minister not an appointee of the president? Isn't the job leaked to the government? If the FCT minister is performing abysmally, you Chuba would also be seated here to also fault the president for appointing someone whose performance is below par. So when you say tying it to the Tinubu administration,
yeah.
I find it
you find it difficult to understand.
I find it funny, but that was hold on, okay. Chuba. Let's move on to this story. I really do not want us to go back. The time for that story is gone, but I needed to correct that impression. It's wrong.
Okay.
Please
if you
go on.
Consider it wrong, I would want you to. I think that the audience can equally be their own judges. The truth is your job, and you have to do it, like I would do mine. Concerning this issue of the tenure elongation or expiration, as it were, it clearly shows you the kind of people that have been saddled or privileged to have had the opportunity of sitting in our offices in the name of managing them. It is a painful and a pitiable state we have found ourselves. We all saw this noise, we saw these problems coming, but for one reason or the other, a lot of people felt like we are trying to even make it happen now, that some people were hitting the polity too quickly, whereas you knew that this day was coming. When you saw the Martin and Mewele faction of the House of Assembly pushing in the manner it was pushing to ensure that that bill was passed in the way it was passed against all odds, and people talk about someone's capacity to ensure that the legislature is working freely, you begin to ask yourself, on what parameters does our conscience and our moralities lie? Today it has happened this way, and we are playing with it. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I have said it and I keep saying it, camera is what. With my face very clear to the camera, I've said over and over again, as I will keep reiterating, nobody has a monopoly of anything. The fact that people are in offices today, it will always come to an end. And at that point in time, you understand that there are some people, because even in the House of Saul, there was the next people that did not die. There are some people who will still come and sit on that table. Upon that strength, people should understand that nothing lasts forever. So the little time you have to do your bidding, you must understand that posterity matters a great deal. What you do with your office and how you go about it is key. We are playing with so much in River State. We are playing with so much in River State. And Nigeria, by extension, we forget the pivotal position of the River State as regards to the Nigerian economy and the Nigerian state. And so much to a large extent, we are making it look like it's nothing. Nothing is happening. We can manage it. Something we can all manage. When the thing gets to Uhuru for everybody, free for all, to take your actions, let's confirm whose strength is stronger. I must believe often and often I will always say, the people whose voice will be loudest. And at this point in time, I think maturity, good reasoning, and if there is anything called the vetoes of a governor or the powers of a president to ensure that what is considered the people's will should at this point in time be on the front burner when they are managing their negotiations. Because some cases are in court, there's a clear-cut judgment. It was not something that you say, oh, there's a clear-cut judgment saying that the act upon which the chairman has wanted to sit on is completely in variance with the constitution of this country.
Are you aware there was an appeal to that?
Now, that's what I'm saying. An appeal has been made. And what was the judgment of the appeal? Upon the strength of the judgment of the appeal, you ask yourself, where are we going to? Because we are in a state where...
What was the judgment of
I'm going somewhere. We are in a state where the judiciary is almost becoming our biggest problem. Why? Because whether we agree or not, our voices might be small. The appointment of judges, in as much as it continues to come from political stakeholders, will continue to have more problems. As it is today, when a court has made a ruling, another court of coordinate jurisdiction makes an appeal, you ask yourself, which judge should be lesser? At the end of the day, the next court that should take the responsibility, like were postulated to the NBA when they had their conference, was very simple and clear. It is high time people make these disparities very, very distinct. People should understand their jurisdictions, and when issues of this nature come up, there should be penalties and fines. But until we start to take things seriously, we'll be tilting this country. There are a lot of countries who are enjoying what we consider democracy today. but they are enjoying it on the hours of very strong, funny actions. Let me not use the phrase. And if we do not take our time carefully, we might be putting River State on that path in no distance time. It is better and wisest for people, everybody that wants to call themselves or calls themselves any level of leaders, to be able to sit on the round table, know what is conscientiously correct, and leave the grandstanding and the power tussle, and let's see how we can forge a way forward. Because on this route we are towing down, you can imagine the LML local government chairman making the statement, saying people that will come to this council will meet their forefathers earlier than expected. Listen, there are people that will not take such statements lightly because they believe that they equally have the same one life and capacities even bigger than you think you do have because of an appointment or an office that has been given to you by benevolence of nature.
All right, Mr. Chuba, what was the appeal? What was the outcome of the appeal?
The appeal of the
you're talking about the outcome. Okay. When you were making your statements, with regards to the amiable faction local government law number 3, and you said there was a court order setting it aside. That was the order of Justice Wale, if you recall. And subsequently, that particular court order was appealed. And unlike what you said, not by a court of sister jurisdiction, it was at the High Court. So the High Court also gave the order.
Don't be offended. Sorry, don't be offended. You said not a court of sister jurisdiction.
When Justice
the court headed by Justice Wale, or what court was that?
When Justice Wale's court is a state high court.
Okay.
Now it was appealed at the appeal court. That's why it's called an appeal.
Sorry, don't be offended.
So what was the outcome of that?
Please don't be offended, please, so that you can equally educate me and educate the audience. The appeal that was made by the chairman or the Amiole faction, where did they go and appeal the case? At the appeal court or an high court in Abuja?
I said an appeal court, not a high court.
I am not privy to that.
You're not privy.
I'm not
Probably
privy to
that could be why you said what you said, but it's fair enough. Now, Mr. George.
Okay, yeah, for me, I want to say that peace is priceless. What is actually happening in River State today should not, happen in a state where people who understand what is needed to be done, are existing. It is quite shameful. And I must say that the governor of River State, Sir Simini Alayi Fubara, is one of the reasons why what is happening today is happening. As a governor, he knows that there is a ruling by the Supreme Court that anything that has to do with caretaker committee chairman is illegal. And he had an ample time to conduct election into the offices of the local government chairman and the councillors that will, represent various wards. What he would have done, because the law empowers him to constitute, a River State Independent Electoral Commission and also fund them to conduct election. He had the time. The assembly equally told him of that. But because he had that, intention of, appointing the caretaker committee, and that is one of the reasons that led to some of the problems you see happening in this state today. He refused deliberately, waiting for this day. And we're talking about leaders in this state. My brother here is talking about the will of the people. As at that time, does he mean that the governor never knew that today will come, even when he was written to conduct election? The finance, the funding, everything is there. All he needed was just to constitute the body, fund them, and give them the mandate to run the election. By now, we would have had an election like 3 months ago. Winners would have emerged, are waiting to take over from those who will be outgoing today. But he refused deliberately and putting us in the position we are. I've once said that if anything happened in River State, the governor should be held responsible. Don't also forget that in the last 3 to 4 months, he has continually seized the allocation of this elected chairman. Allocation of this elected chairman, the council. The men have refused, the man has refused to give them their money and all of that. money that is meant for development, some of them have already embarked on projects. Because of the seizure of that money, they could not complete it. So what you see happening here today is quite shameful. You know, there is blame from both parties that once tenure has expired, he has refused to go. He's also laying claim to the law that was made by Assembly. Probably a law that was made by Assembly and set aside by a high court. Good. And then subsequently appealed by Amoeble and which is yet to be given. And an order was given with respect to that order. Okay. And the order was stay execution. Okay. Do you understand? So with regards to that, one would question, like any other person would, who is following this thing properly, one would question, if court has given an order, why can't it be obeyed? Isn't it the same thing that has been playing out in Kano Emirate? That's the same thing that has been playing out even among the state high courts and federal high courts as well. Orders and counter orders from sister court of jurisdiction. Now, if a higher court, if an appeal has been made to a higher court and there was a ruling pending termination of the suit on ground, why can't it be obeyed? If you would recall again, Mr. George, there was also a recent ruling with respect to the Okojombo faction and all what. A ruling virtually made by a 3-man panel of the appeal court also said stay execution. Even though the Amoeble faction was praying to be reinstated, the appeal court said stay execution for the sake of peace in Rivers State. And so far, I don't think you have anybody here can say that they have seen after that order by an appeal court, Amoeble and his faction has sat on any plenary. They stayed execution. The question is, why can't the governor follow the law as well? Why can't these different parties respect the judicature? Has the judicature been ridiculed to a point, or has the judicature ridiculed itself to a point that their orders are no longer holds weight by politicians? Choma, that is the point I'm trying to make. That what you see happening here today is partly the fault of the governor. He had every opportunity to ensure that this day never came. But he deliberately, even when the matter was being discussed, he deliberately, like you said, from what is going on now, it's obvious that the man has refused, to respect, the position of the court. And my brother here said, no one person has the monopoly of violence. If the governor feels he cannot respect, the decision of the court, then I think those who are also staying put who want to say whatever that will happen tomorrow, let it happen today. He was making reference to the comment by, I think, the LMA local government chairman. That's the LMA local government chairman yesterday. I watched that. Okay. It was on social media, where he said he actually openly dared the people that will come or attempt to occupy his local government like they have done. Again, let me say something here. He said that if they dare it, his claim is that he's being backed up by a law. And if they dare it, that in his language, like Chuba quoted, they will meet their ancestors earlier than expected. And he repeated that statement for emphasis, earlier than expected. Now, in face of this crisis, these are statements that has the capacity of not the politics already heated. It has the capacity of pushing this. We are teetering on a brink already. It has the capacity of pushing. I agree with you. We must do everything possible. Are we heading to a state of emergency at this point? That is where, if you look at it critically, if it is not managed properly, that may be where this will lead to. Because if this other faction, this other group feels that these people do not have the monopoly of violence to do anything, and there's a clash somewhere, this may lead to death. It may lead to destruction. And that is where the security agent, the president will have to wade in. But my brother here said... You think the president has clearly said that with respect to River State crisis, he's indifferent. You remember he waded in and... probably it still boils down to the governor now respecting some of the political solutions. We are controversial. It was greatly contested by a lot of people.
And would the president want to wade in again? Probably he will allow the law to take its full course.
That means we are heading towards a state of emergency, because if those whose tenure had ended and who feel that they are being backed by law for a state of emergency, and when that happens, even the governor who has refused to do what he was supposed to do to save the day will also be engulfed.
All right.
So
they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very family. Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask, oh?
Because this road where they see, so it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so no day. Light usai. The infrastructure we can't turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, well everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No verse. Now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadehi Foundation, the Marketer Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say, nothing.
Okay, now. We'll go block later.
You remember that contract we will do that time now?
They don't pay.
But first, you see the house rent with the old since. We go first call caretaker, take the money, slap him.
Beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy why they pay for club. Where me and boys they shark beer in our house, I supposed pay that one. You remember say me and tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Okay, nah. They pay you money now. We don't they beg caretaker? Why would they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us time? Money can't come now. You won't divert time. You said na corruption. Corruption, not in my house and not in my country.
Sure?
Sure.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
Kasali, I hope so my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Okay, you're not ready. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now in the cause more delay.
Which instruction?
Maybe now you say make I change the meter, make you no read again.
Which time I make you change meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like this now? You don't get sense. You don't read the text message. Nobody I want to send them to. Like Kasali, my electrician, make it come house, call me do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You're the electrician.
You're electrician.
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician, make it come help you adjust your meter, make it for no read again, Abi. So you said you want join people where be say they no want they pay NEPA bill again, Abi. Oga, you know good now. You don't you don't behave like all these stiff people.
What you change from your motor? What you change from?
Two lights. Fuel gauge. Speedometer.
For what now? You for come out for home my motor. I bet you identify for me.
Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. Do something come backfire. Now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
They greet you.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
What you want to buy?
Potato. Small basket. I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy them. Make her show you something. What? What in be this one? Madam, this one now the chemical where they put on for the plantain make her ripe up.
So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
No water, no be chemical.
Water. You know say Pela I don't can say water and not be enemy. Drink am.
Where you collect that water, drink am.
I just stop finish. See my belly. After it don't big. I just stop drink water finish.
We can drink am now. I dey sell am plantain I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe go. That one I talk now corruption. Corruption. Not be for this kaswa, come not be for this country. Now me take am.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place
people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Ahead of the September 21 governorship election in Edo State, former Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu distanced himself from the PDP candidate Aksue Iodalu, calling him an outsider. Speaking at St. Paul's Catholic Church in Benin City during the 2024 Father's Day celebration, Shaibu expressed support for the APC candidate Monday Okpeblo, warning that a PDP victory would reintroduce godfatherism in the state. Shaibu, impeached by the Edo State House of Assembly, emphasized his preference for supporting a local candidate, referring to Okpeblo and Olumide of the Labour Party as the only homeboys in the race. Let me start with you, Mr. George.
Okay.
Now, you are not unaware of the internal wranglings in PDP and the fallout.
Yeah.
Now, with everything that is playing out in PDP right now, and Shaibu coming out openly to say he will not support Aksue Iodalu and saying that APC and Labour Party candidates are homeboys, that's openly showing where his sympathies lie, even though by that statement it's not clear whether he's supporting APC or Labour Party or he will play both sides. But what do you think this will mean for PDP in the forthcoming elections?
Anyway, let me say that I would have been surprised if Shaibu had, come openly to say he's supporting the PDP candidate. That for me would have happened if he had some kind of maybe relationship beyond politics with the candidate of the PDP, given what happened to him. Do you know what it means that someone was impeached from the office? So he would have been thinking, if I was actually important to this party, why didn't the PDP save me from being impeached? So it's like a payback to what they have done to him. That is the reason why he's supporting, the APC candidate. He has, hinged it on the issue of these are homeboys, why this other one is not a homeboy. But we don't want godfatherism. Politicians know how to, tie these things to something and things like that. Obviously, he's not supporting the PDP because of what happened to him. So as for if he has that clout, political clout to turn the tide as an against the PDP in Edo State, I wouldn't know his strength, his political strength. But whether you like it or not, for someone who had been a deputy governor of a state, and before then Shaibu also is a known name, probably has some level of support from the masses. If he tells them to align with the APC president, I'm sure that will also give the APC candidate some kind of political capital. So it is a loss for the PDP. It's a loss for the PDP because whether you like it or not, it has some level of support base, which if they align with the APC candidate, that will also increase the rating of the APC candidate. So it's a loss for the PDP.
Right.
They didn't manage it very well.
Okay. Now, Mr. Chuba, when you look critically, Labour Party on the other hand, are having their own issues with even the candidacy of the leader but are being contested, And then the Obedients have also come out to say that they are not supporting Abata for the Guba elections and that they have more trust in the APC candidates. Now, it seems as if the pendulum is swinging in the pool. How do you see Obaseki surviving this and his candidates? Do not forget, Obaseki, on the other hand, has spoken with so much confidence, of securing this election. Oshomole, on the other hand, is saying if he has to sweep, that he will sweep and sweep and sweep his candidates into power. Now, when you look at this power play going on, how do you think this is going to play out?
I need to say that I'm not a fan of neither of the parties, like you all know. But to be candid with you, it is just another episode playing out. It's elections. Is it really the people's interest and people's votes that would count? It's most important to the people, to sincere Nigerians. It's not about the many talks that they are making. They are really pretty bad a loss in the vibrancy of the person of Shaibu, letting him go. But for one, whether you like it or not, now where's Shaibu going back to? He's going back to his former boss. He's going back to the former party, which is APC and Oshemole, because that's what they are saying.